good day, everyone. And thank you very much for the IOD Global Forum, the impact of diversity. Just the subject IOD excites me a lot because I know, having lived through my 28 years in Intel as a woman engineer, I know that there is significant impact which is left untapped if we don't include diversity. Having said that, this last 2 years flew by in everyone's life and left us so much different. How we are today, we will never be, how we were 2 years ago. We saw a lot of losses. We saw a lot of pain. We saw a comeback with technology. We saw a comeback with medication and vaccination. Honestly telling you, me and my daughter were having a conversation and she said, "Ma, I don't know how I turned 22. I thought I was still 20." Because the 2 years were not the same like we lived the rest of our lives. It was March 2020, and we were very ready to host India's biggest AI conference. As we grew closer to the end of March, everybody had heard about this dreaded corona, this dreaded COVID. We were getting prepared, so we decided as a company, as a country, to not have this event in person, but try to go for an online event. That was the beginning of the online journey that hasn't stopped for us. We started hearing a lot of countries were getting impacted. A lot of people's lives were getting impacted. This was what we were calling in India as the wave 1. For some reason, the first variant of COVID did not impact India as bad as it had impacted some of the other countries. However, Intel had already called out, work from home or work from wherever you were, and we were enabling only essential workers. I must say that I have to thank the government of India, government of Karnataka, where we are based primarily, supported us to enable the essential workers. Just to tell you the closure of our AI story, we did do an online event. We did make it global, but of course it was not with the fanfare like it would have been had it been a face-to-face event. However, we did whatever best we could. By this time around, Indian government had decided to enable many other countries with the vaccines that they were short of. So Covishield was one vaccine. The R&D was Oxford and AstraZeneca, but the manufacturing was done by Serum Institute of India, and we had plenty of those vaccines. Indian government decided to enable other countries with these vaccines, and we were very happy that the country had made this call. And then came 2021. Again around March timeframe, I had made a trip to US. I'd come back on 13th of April. I realized that, oh my gosh, this Delta variant had come and it was wreaking havoc in the country. It was far more infectious, far more deadly. And I was immediately advised that I should go and get my second vaccine because I was taking it a little easy. I took my second vaccine in Delhi itself and I started worrying that, there are so many people in Intel India that needed to be vaccinated. So we started working together, the operations team, the CS team, the legal team, all of us started working with industries, with hospitals. How do we get Intel India vaccinated? And we followed the government's policies and set up a vaccination center for our Intel India employees. Come May, and oh my gosh, May through July, those few months I will never forget. The most difficult months I can say of my life. Large population base we have in Intel India, we have partner employees. And many of them got sick. Many of them got sick. Just to tell you that, India has seen 35 million people up till now getting impacted with COVID and 450,000 deaths. That translates into 1.1% people dying of COVID. Our Intel India employees, while though I will tell you, our average age is very young. I'm one of the older, populations of Intel India, oldest I would say, but the young average of India is around 30 plus years. However, we started realizing that their parents were falling sick, their relatives were falling sick, and our employees were helping their family. We even got a lot of requests from around the globe, as many of you would have, because we as Intel India are present in so many different countries, and our families are in as many different countries. So we did the best we could. The leadership team, the volunteer team, anybody who had it in their heart, to help came out. And we had a 24-hour support model with our volunteers, with our leaders, with anybody who wanted to help. We opened up our Rolodex for any connect with doctors, vaccines, medicines, ICUs, oxygen. We could to enable anybody who reached out to us, especially our employees, their families, our employees who are elsewhere in the world, their families. I must tell you that I saw angels in people who were out there. I'll tell you, there were many of us leadership team who wouldn't sleep, till 3 a.m. So those 2 months, 3 months were really life-changing for many of us. And I must thank Pat Gelsinger and the leadership team who provided us a lot of support in terms of oxygen concentrators, in terms of oxygen ability to create oxygen generators, extended hospitalization support, 24-hour helpline with doctors, a doctor sitting on campus in Bangalore, because 60 to 70% of our employees were still in Bangalore. So we did whatever we could personally, as well as huge thanks to our leaders like Pat Gelsinger, like K1, like Darcy, and like Randhir, and many others who stepped up. I also must thank our global employees. There were people who contributed with time, with money, with food, with their networks. Anything and everything helped us. And I'm sure your story would be exactly the same wherever you are. But we also saw the world came together. Our employees all around the world came together. People who are not even part of Intel contributed towards India, contributed towards Intel India. So we know that when we are faced with crisis as humanity, humanity steps up. Technology stepped up. R&D enabled vaccine to be created in 1 year. Intel contributed towards such technological research in India as well. We leveraged our AI capability, we leveraged our server capability, IoT gateway capability to study the virus's mutation. Which version of mutation this virus RNA has gone to enable actual personalization of treatment. And I know the world around is doing many such things. World Health Organization, Lancet, and many reports all of us have been reading. Now, all this happened. What did it leave us with? I think few pearls of wisdom for me and for all of us. One, as human beings, we are resilient. We saw the Spanish flu, we saw the bird flu and many others, and we saw the COVID-19. But we beat it, or we are beating it And I'm really praying hard this pandemic has already become an endemic and we've learned to live with it. We learned many things, what are on a lighter side, what are our needs versus what are our wants. I realized many of us, including me, focus so much on the wants, but realized that I didn't wear my heels for 2 years and it didn't matter. I didn't carry my bags. Didn't matter. I was eating, I was doing my work, and I was taking care of myself, making sure, practicing hygiene and everything else. Those are what the needs are. So clear distinction between needs and wants, not just me, my children, and many of us learned. On a more serious note, I knew as a woman, I've had 2 children during my lifetime at Intel. I realized I could always work from home. During my delivery, during the time when I had my children, I did take maternity time off. I don't remember how much was it, maybe 2 months. But I worked. I came back, I was 1 month working from home and I delivered. And I knew I could. So many of the people, not just women who have worked from home due to whatever reasons in their lifetime, know that work from outside of office campus works. Now for 2 years, a lot of the world is working from anywhere. So I've learned, we as Intel India have learned that work from anywhere works. So the learning is, come tomorrow, we will leverage this for our advantage. At least people can work from anywhere. Now, what does this give me as a learning? This gives me that, the attrition I would often see in Intel India for women due to their marriages because they are moving where their husbands are. Perhaps we can save those women and have them continue to work from it for Intel from wherever they are. That's definitely a critical learning. So such learnings is going to make my workforce and where they are located open. I also believe health is very important. So going forward, I really believe each one of us will be living differently. Each one of us will be practicing the requirements that this COVID has left us with. I think masks in crowded places will be there. I also believe technology adoption has accelerated like never before and will continue. I really loved a statement that Pat Gelsinger has made, and that's what I'm going to end with, is we have been the fastest in technology adoption if you compare from the past, and we have been in the slowest technology adoption if you look in the future, because from now on, the acceleration in technology adoption has begun. And I really feel for women, more and more level playing field will be attained through technology adoption. So the world of tomorrow will lean heavily on technology for health, for diversity and inclusion, and for equality. So while COVID left us with a lot of scars on our souls, for the people we lost, the world lost 4.5 million people, precious people, but it left us stronger. It left us very equipped to drive technology, to adopt technology, and to create value out of technology. I'm going to end with a quote that I created during one of my talks. Technology by itself is lifeless unless it's put to save lives and create livelihood for humanity. Thank you very much.